As we've mentioned, our first story of tonight is about the second edition of the African Startup Conference, which took place here in Algiers. Placed under the aegis of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, and organized by the Ministry of Knowledge Economy, Startups and Micro-Enterprises, the event lasted 3 days and ended with the adoption of the Algiers Declaration and the draft charter on brain drain in the continent. Inas Killou has more on the impressions of the participants.
Raising the profile of African startups and boosting their contribution to economic development are the main objectives of the second edition of the African Startup Conference. The 200 exhibitors present on the event had the opportunity to share their experiences and showcase their products with a view to concluding cooperation agreements.
Cette conférence-là est un grand aujourd'hui opportunité.
This conference is a good opportunity for us and for all the Algerian young startup managers to share their experience with other foreign operators in the same field and also showcase their products. The Algerian market is very interesting, so our goal is to expand our product at the level of the entire Algerian market.
Tout de suite logique de nous expandre en Algérie.
On est doté de l'espoir, donc puisqu'on est doté d'espoir,
We are optimistic. We came here to introduce our company and expand it on the national and international levels.
À l'échelle nationale et pourquoi pas à l'échelle internationale, c'est ça.
The presence of local and foreign economic operators creates a framework that helps establish fruitful partnerships driven by a shared desire to enhance economic cooperation. These actors seized this opportunity to discuss potential collaboration, paving the way for synergies that can benefit domestic and international economic growth.
Invest in African startups is very, very important. It's not just Africans in Africa that invest in African startups, but Africans in the diaspora that they mobilize, they educate themselves.
Il y a un programme qui s'appelle Catalytic Africa, qui est un programme qui va investir dans les startups.
There's a program called Catalytic Africa that will invest in startups. Therefore, we are here today in Algeria with an aim to explore the implementation steps with the Algerian government.
L'implémentation des programmes comme Catalytic avec le gouvernement algérien.
Startups play a crucial role in significantly contributing to the achievements of the goals set by the African Union Agenda, as well as the United Nations Sustainable Development Agenda and the Digital Transformation Strategy for Africa 2020-2030.
In Zambia, the third edition of the International Conference on Public Health in Africa took place. This event is a continental platform for African leaders to reflect on the lessons learned both in health and in science, notably after the COVID-19 pandemic. This year's edition was shared in Kunda.
Everybody's excitement.
Discussions are underway in a quest to strengthen Africa's resilience to disease outbreaks. The second day of the plenary sessions of the International Conference on Public Health in Africa included the special ministerial session discussing transformative leadership in Africa. Health Minister Sylvia Masebo said health initiatives of African countries should be aligned with their developmental goals.
We must embrace innovation because innovation is the cornerstone of progress. We must leverage technology, embrace digital health, and support indigenous innovations which are tailored to our unique context.
Health Minister of Rwanda, Sabine Sanzimana, said that artificial intelligence will transform health services on the continent.
We should embrace this technology, of course, within clear frameworks and laws and guidelines so that it helps us where it has to be helping us.
Meanwhile, Minister of State to the President of Senegal, Awesek, called for appointment of women to positions of leadership in the health sector. And Africa CDC Chief of Staff, Ngashingongo, said digital health is a game changer for the health sector.
We see in the primary healthcare digitalization agenda a place where we really want to empower these women to be the ones that are driving the digitalization agenda.
The conference which runs until November 30, will also explore resilient financing mechanisms to strengthen pandemic preparedness and Africa's progress in advancing local production of vaccines, among others. Sharon Siame, ZNBC News, Lusaka.
To Tanzania, where in Mangoni village in Zanzibar, seaweed business is thriving. To that end, the World Bank IDA projects provided funding for seaweed growing and training in this field. The head of this international organization visited Tanzania lately to observe the benefits of this funding. We discover more with Rahil Mansebabli.
It is a visit of President of the World Bank Ajay Banga in Mongoni Village seaweed farms to interact with project beneficiaries and observe directly the transformative power of IDA funding. Over 15,000 seaweed farmers who have benefited, 74% are women operating under Southwest Indian Ocean Fisheries Governance and Shared Growth Project.
The World Bank has empowered us in so many ways. We used to dry seaweed on the ground, and now we dry them in these mats. And we also thank Mama Mwinyi and Dr. Mwinyi for these tents that will help us when it's raining. We can now take our kids to school and build houses in the village.
Tunawasomesha watoto, tunajengea vijijini. Tulikuwa tunapanda mwani kwa funga fungua.
We used to plant seaweed occasionally. When this Blue Economy project came and gave us training on how to grow seaweed in a modern way, we now harvest at a larger rate.
On the other hand, Minister of the Blue Economy Suleiman Masoud Makame says Zanzibar currently depends on seaweed crops for exports.
Seaweed is one of the top crops exported from Zanzibar to abroad. And this is one of the targets of the government of Zanzibar to make sure that we empower women. Mostly they engage themselves in the production of seaweeds.
Similarly, Ajay Banga, President of the World Bank, urged the government to prioritize the energy sector in order to ensure there is a steady supply of energy. This, he says, will facilitate development of numerous industries that will raise the value of seaweed crop and help farmers increase their income.
We must focus on power. 100 million is good. There's still 500 million more to go. Without power, you cannot have the internet, digital, school fees, school reading, or any of these factories to manufacture from seaweed. You need power. Everything comes from power.
As of November 2023, the IDA financed portfolio in Tanzania was about 8.3 billion, comprising 23 national projects totaling 7.26 billion in commitments and 6 regional projects totaling 1.05 billion in commitments. Reporting from Zanzibar, Rehema Sibabili, TBC News.
In Nigeria, the 13th edition of the Zuma Film Festival gathered key players in the Nigerian movie industry and globally around constructive debates and conversations, notably about better storytelling and funding mechanisms. We have more with Elizabeth Omoroyi.
It's another year to assess ingenuity and celebrate cultures and traditions of Nigerians through audiovisual means.
You dare stand before me and tell me he eluded you and got away with a memory card? And you decided to flaunt my instructions?
This year's edition, organizers say, will showcase some of Nigeria's greatest cultural projects and exhibitions from film entries received.
The collaboration is facilitating the development of our local film industry, nurturing homegrown talent and providing a platform for emerging filmmakers.
We use this edition to sustain the narratives, to intentionally sustain Zuma Film Festival as an annual event with Abuja as the host city.
As a melting pot for domestic and global film professionals, as well as film enthusiasts, its masterclasses also avail filmmakers the opportunity to network and explore co-production opportunities.
To understand what animation is all about and how I can also acquire apps that are cheaper to enable me produce my own animation movies.
An eye-opener to a lot of things that we feel, we think we have known that are yet to be discovered.
The annual event is expected to recognize cinematic excellence and promote quality audiovisual services. Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.